The rest of Wall Street watched Goldman's metamorphosis with a mixture of envy, frustration, and resentment. But even as Goldman's per questioned had cicatrized its transformation, they also tried to copy it. The morning but the profits the firm produced and the paychecks its partner got made Goldman the firm what everyone also had to keep up with, and to the outside world, it looked like they had become like Goldman. They had embraced risk taking and they had begun to produce outside profits, and yet the crisis would show that they weren't like Goldman at all. In his memoir, Want a Break, Paulson recalls the moment when he went to talk to Cornice Corsine after the coup had been completed. Corsine had just learned his fate. He'd been informed by John Train, Goldman's CFO and Corsine's close friend. Train was named chief executive of Merrill Lynch during the worst weekend of the financial crisis. He negotiated his merger with Bank of America. Hank, I underestimate you, Saiconis. According to Paulson, I didn't know you were such a thought guy. In fact, there was a lot about Hank Paulson that was surprisingly. He was a devout Christian Scientist whose words was too many diet cooks. Despite a night future network, he invaded against competious consumptions. He was almost absurdly frugal, a trait he inherited from his father, and Ilonis Jeweler. He he and his wife Wendy, whom he married during his second year at Harvard Business School, were avid conservationists and financial birds watchers. Thought they obviously lived in New York. The Paulsons mm, homestead was in the Midwestern Prairie on a farm in Barrington, Illinois. It was where Paulson had grown up. As a leader, Paulson was cut from a very different cloth, said Bob Robin. He once told his alumni magazine that I am not an inspirational leader. I am just not. He didn't lead by charm or by lending people to his way of thinking by asking, What what do you think? Rather, he was a force of nature, and his management style was marked by a kind of brutal pragmatism. His preferred mode was driving into actions rather than sitting back, waiting and apparently strategizing. He was direct to a fault, utterly lacking the verbal slickness that discipline requires. At about 6 foot two, with a build that still midly resembled the Dartmouth football player he'd once been, had a gravelly voice to boot. Paulson had an aggressiveness about him that made people think he was much bigger than he was, and which called immediate people into silence. These qualities also led some people to underestimate Paulson as Corsin had, but doing so was a mistake. He had a mind that was surprisingly details-oriented, nuanced, and clever. He also had an astonishing work ethic. Had is a hit-seeking missile, says a former Goldman partner. If you says Motorola might do a financing, he calls Motorola 7,000 times. He doesn't stop. Paulson will always tell the firm's bankers that they had to have something new to offer with each and every call. He had losing whether he was on the slopes or trying to land a deal. Unlikely his predecessor Cornelius was his eventual successor, Lloyd Blankfein. Paulson was an investment banker, not a fixed income trader. He had spent the early part of his career doing banking deals out of Goldman's Chicago office. Prior to John Goldman, Paulson had served as an assistant to John Ehrlichman in the Nixon administration. He became a partner in 1982, 8 years after joining the firm, rising to be co-head of the firm's investment banking department and then its chief operating officer before taking over as CEO. Investment banker thought he was.